Semper Fi, Smith Jack, USMC here. Somebody asked me, how do I defend myself against the New World Order? Tell me about ammo. I'll tell you about ammo. I'm not going to tell you, go fight against the New World Order. Because that's not what I'm about. I think if anyone watches long enough, they realize they'll see what I'm about. But here is what I will tell you. I believe in self-defense and defense of others. Those are the first two things you learn in the Marine Corps. Reasons for deadly force. Deadly force is that force which a reasonable person would consider likely to cause death or serious bodily harm. To stop a threat. Alright? To stop a threat, you need an effective means to stop the threat. Whether it be a baton, an ASP retractable baton, metal, whether it be a taser, stun gun, whether it be your fists, means necessary. Sometimes you may not need to shoot someone to stop a threat. Right? Use judgment. Use good judgment. But if it comes down to life and death with a handgun, which is typically what most of you are going to be carrying, you need to have the right ammo. Start with, see that? That's a full metal jacket. It's a 380. It's a 9mm short in Europe. It's a 380. Ball. They call that ball ammo. See why? You know why. Because it is fully encased in copper. This, a little comparison, that is a .40 caliber ball round. Full metal jacket. Right? 380. .40 caliber. This is what the police carry, this caliber right here, in their weapon, .40 caliber. 380 used to be the old carry round. Nowadays you got all kinds of compact, full-size round weapons. Well, the problem is most of you go down to Walmart or your nearest gun shop and you find the cheapest ammo you can and load your gun with it, which is usually a full metal jacket ball round. This is Blazer, made by CCI, brass Blazer. It's kind of a hot target ammo. Very cheap. Cheaper than Winchester. I believe this 380 here is some of that Winchester type. I never had it fail me yet, so don't get all off on this. That stuff's made in China. Who cares? It shoots. Alright, now if you want to defend yourself, I recommend two specific bullets. One, HydroShock. Can you see that? My camera doesn't focus very good up close, so I'm holding this kind of far away. So Federal HydroShock. It's a hollow point with a post in the middle. HydroShock because the name is describing the function that happens. It's got a small post in the middle of the hollow point. The post causes flesh that it strikes like your chest, causes the bullet to expand outward and roll out, and it creates a large cavity wound that creates a lot of bleed out, is what they call it. This is an SNB. I'm not going to try and say the name. It's a European name. SNB hollow point. It does not contain a post. That's a 9mm hollow point. It's a small hollow point, but yet it is still effective. The idea of the hollow point is that it mushrooms out. So your bullet enters, and under impact it crushes down and creates a mushroom shape similar to my hands. I can't bend my fingers backwards, so I'm doing the best I can. So it bends out like this. Okay, it used to be this big, it hit you, now it's that big. Right? Two things happen. One, the wound is larger. Two, the bullet does not travel all the way through the body without causing any damage. Problem with these, ball ammo, which is the military issue, is all ball ammo. The NATO rules say you can't shoot hollow points at people because it causes too much damage. They want to shoot these at people because they don't necessarily kill every time. They create a wound. And a wound in combat on one soldier takes 2 more soldiers to go repair him unless you're a Muslim. You don't care if your brother falls and he's bleeding to death. Oh, the more suffering, the better his case is with Allah, right? So that does not matter, does not work. So they've gone to bigger bullets that cause more damage now in combat. All right. For instance, I carry a 380 Sig Sauer. To make my 380 worth something, I carry Hydra-Shoks in it. That's legal where I live. The smart thing to do is do what the cops do, as long as it's legal in where you live. Now, if you don't know what's legal in your state, you go to the NRA website, ILA, NRAILA.com. I don't know exactly how to put it. You just put a search in, you'll find it. It'll be one of the first 2 or 3 things you see. And then you go by state and look up your little laws. And you can decide what you can do and what you can't do according to your state. Now, if you have a handgun carry permit, you probably already know that. But some people have asked me. Go look it up. They've got the best resources right now. There's some other organizations that are for your Second Amendment rights, but they don't have quite the deal set up yet. So, these 380 hollow points are of a different brand. These are Winchester hollow point. This hollow point doesn't look like other Winchesters I've seen. I believe it's a type that does similar to what the Hydra-Shok does. Now there's also one called the Speer Gold Dot. Speer Gold Dot is a truly devastating round because it not only mushrooms out, but the way it's designed, they take a Full Metal Jacket and they punch it in. They punch in the tip and then they ream it out. And what that does when they punch it in is it creates talons. You've heard of the black talon? Speer Gold Dot is similar to the black talon is in the fact that it splits open and it's got these jagged edges that cause even more catastrophic damage to the target when it hits it. Okay, so those are defensive rounds. So if you want to load your gun with something, Speer Gold Dot or Hydra-Shok. There are some other good rounds out there. A good hollow point is the way to go. If you don't want to spend the money on those high-end rounds, get you some kind of hollow point in your gun to defend yourself. You can get a couple hundred rounds of Winchester hollow point at Walmart for defensive purposes, and load up all your Glock magazines because they all hold like 15 or 18 bullets, 17 9mm, 15 40s in your Glock standard mags. You can load them all up, shove them in your bug out bag, and carry one on your person. You'll be ready to go, and you'll feel more safe at night, I guess. Just one thing, don't sleep with a round in the chamber if you got a Glock. You're liable to shoot yourself in the head or your partner, whoever that might be. That's why the military doesn't allow their troops to sleep with a round in the chamber, because they're liable to wake up in the fog of half asleep, half awake, and accidentally shoot somebody. Get some training. I'll offer some training. You can go to Front Sight out in Arizona. Pay a couple $1,000s, get a week's worth of really awesome training, and you'll come out ahead. But you better hurry, because those kind of things are probably going to go away in the next 6 months or so, depending on how the operation goes in the new administration in this government. Semper Fi, stay safe, seek peace first. The reason I wouldn't use ball ammo as a self-defense round is because it'll perforate rather than expand. Hollow points expand on impact. Ball ammo, Full Metal Jacket, target type ammo that's usually very cheap, will pass all the way through a body. In some cases, do very little damage other than tick off the enemy against you. That Full Metal Jacket will pass right on through that body, especially at close range, travel into a wall behind you, possibly hit a family member or a standard by. You don't want to be doing that, because legally you're responsible for that bullet and where it winds up. Okay? So think about that. Get yourself some hollow points, because they do damage, they stop the threat, and they don't create collateral damage, like as in someone standing behind them, or a hostage or an innocent bystander. Right?